Welcome back to the Fattitude Era, the podcast single-handedly responsible for WWE Shop's lack of plus-size t-shirts. I'm your host, Jackknife Jess Smith.
El Hordano Diablo.
And once again, we continue our journey into the good, the bad, and the ugly of professional wrestling. Before we get started, let's introduce Pete Milk of Milky Way Recordings fame, our Lord and Savior. Pete, say hello.
How's it going, guys?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing great. Actually, for once, I have some things to contribute to this podcast other than just shitty, witty remarks.
The non-wrestling fan has something to say.
I have, yeah, exactly. So on Saturday, it was our friend Courtney Brennan's birthday, who is Kidney Leans' girlfriend.
Yeah, yes.
And they wanted to go to this AIW event, which is like an independent wrestling event.
In Cleveland.
And I said, fuck it, why not? I'll go.
Hell yeah.
Given the recent...
Gotta do some research for this thing.
I have to be somewhat acclimated to this, I guess, so I said, why not? And it was super fun. It was really great. Had an excellent time. All the wrestling was very good. I was thoroughly impressed. You know, they kind of started out with, they put 6 guys in the ring at once, and they just kind of let them go and do their, amateur thing.
Oh, right.
You could tell everything was, pretty thoroughly planned out on how they were going to do everything. But it was awesome. And it kind of progressed through there. But at one point, I think it was, right after intermission, they, the next match was getting started. And I think a Dead Kennedys song starts playing. I'm not sure. It was pretty notable punk song. I just couldn't put my finger on it.
Right on.
And I'm like, oh, cool. Probably some, punk-themed guy. Probably going to be pretty cool. Guess who comes out through
CM
the fucking
Punk.
drapes?
Who?
Alex Keller.
What?
Do you know Alex Keller?
No.
Okay, well, never mind then. But he was a dude that was pretty prominent in the Cleveland music scene. He was in... let's see.
I know the name for sure.
Yeah, he was in Basement Boys. He was in Mad Minds. He also, he either lived at the Tower for a while or booked shows there for a while.
Gotcha.
But yeah, him and his little buddy, whose signature thing was throwing up 2 hang looses before he drop kicked you or whatever. But it was sweet. So it was them versus it was a tag team match of them versus these 2 corporate looking motherfuckers there. I don't know, they were fucking dumb. But they ended up winning their match. It was super good. And then yeah, it kind of just progressed throughout the night. And the main event was this dude from Scotland named Grado.
Okay.
Who had a pretty decent penguin belly. And the legend Tracy Smothers.
Tracy Smothers.
Tracy
of
Smothers.
ECW fame.
Now, mind you, when I walked into the event at the beginning of the night, he was the main merch table, and he was selling shirts with the Confederate flag on them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, this is probably a guy who was really huge back in the day, and he's probably here to, sell his shit and be, present in the scene. That's really awesome.
Yeah, he's there to make money.
I had no clue that he was actually going to wrestle, because, dude, this guy looked like he was hurting. He was barely walking, dude.
Yeah, he's been old for quite some time. Back in the late 90s, as I was telling you right before we started, he was... there was this faction in ECW called the Full-Blooded Italians, and it was these dudes who came out in these green shirts with red writing that said FBI on it.
And didn't it carry over to...
It did. It carried over a little bit into WWE,
Yeah.
but they squashed it pretty quick. But it was it was an ECW thing,
Yeah.
and it was mostly these Italian guys, your Italian-looking guys.
And...
Yeah, well, Little Guido was his name at the time.
But
and
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, and Big Sally. But Tracy Smothers joined, and I remember watching when Tracy Smothers joined, and my dad was like, "What the fuck? I think he's from Tennessee or something. Yeah. He's not fucking Italian."
He exactly is from Tennessee, and he had a Confederate flag with him, a full, on a wooden spool thing.
Absolutely, he did.
They actually used as a weapon at one point.
Oh yeah, because it's not already a weapon, right?
Yeah, but the match is going on, and there's they're not wrestling. They're just talking for a solid 15, 20 minutes, just inciting drama with each other.
Sounds like an episode of Raw, really.
Yeah, but it's going along, and I know it's all an act, but there were certain prominent figures that you could tell who had set up that event that were watching the ring and being like, what in the actual fuck is going on? And like, what the fuck did we hire this guy for? Like, the homie drove from fucking Tennessee the night before.
Right.
Basically just made fun of Cleveland for a solid 25 minutes, 30 minutes, wrestled for all of maybe 5, inciting the crowd. He was doing a great job of playing the heel, the bad guy, if you will, which is a term that I've come into familiarity recently.
The heel.
Thanks to you guys. But there was a moment in my mind that will stick out forever. And there was a little girl in the crowd who was there with her dad. And Grado, God bless his soul, was fucking doing everything he could that entire match to try and salvage it. Like, let's make this entertaining somewhat because this dude is washed up. He can't fucking wrestle. He can't do anything. He can't dance anymore. He can't sing anymore. He's just basically being a fucking racist on stage. So there's this little girl, and she's like just yelling shit at him, and fucking Grado decides to fucking give this little girl the mic, and she basically tells Tracy Smothers that he sucks.
I was hoping you were going to be, she was like, fuck you.
It gets better. It gets better. So a couple more things progress. It's pretty lame. Somehow, somewhere in the between, Tracy Smothers has a microphone, and he looks at this 11-year-old girl, like, right before, like, he walks out, and he points at her and calls her a little bitch. He was like,
fucking love the
He was
wrestling
like,
business.
I'm done
Now,
with you. I'm
so I
going
just
back
walked
to
into
my
the house for
hotel,
the
and I'm
Tracy
going to
Smothers
drink a
conversation.
fifth. I didn't
I
say
do
it, but
wanna
he was like saying, I'm
clarify
going to get
something.
wasted.
He
And
pointed
I'm going
at
to
the girl
drive
and
to
said,
fucking Tennessee.
"This one's for
Fuck
you,
you,
you
Cleveland."
little
And then he
bitch.
pauses and just looks at the girl and points at her and just calls her a little bitch.
Ty just everybody else is going to hear it, but I don't think you could hear him. Ty is going to chime in with what he just said.
Oh, I'm taking my shoes off. So I don't.
Be closer.
Hello.
There you
There
go.
we
I
go.
can hear you.
So he aggressively points at the girl and says, "This one's for you, you little bitch."
I fucking love professional wrestling
Yeah.
so much.
That's why you go to indies to see
Fucking
shit like
dudes
that
that are
happen.
just like falling apart.
Yeah, dude. But like, I looked up. Dude's only 53, and let me tell you, he looks like a deep fried looking hot dog motherfucker.
Dude, that's what the Tennessee Sun, a lot of racism, painkillers, and booze will do to you.
Yeah, dude. He was definitely swallowing some kind of pill before the match because I walked by and he had a bottle. And it looked like
Viagra.
vitamins, but I could tell by the pills those were not vitamins.
It's Viagra.
It was a fucking horse tranquilizer is what it was.
No, what's funny is when it comes to independence, you see some crazy shit if you look it up on YouTube. Like I remember back when CM Punk was still doing his indie days. He's like at a wrestling match, and some kid goes, "I hate you, CM Punk," and he walks over to the side of the ring and goes, "I hope your parents die."
Because they can get away with whatever the fuck they want, dude. They're not on TV. I find that fucking hilarious. Was that when you said that was right before he walked out?
Yeah, it was like literally moments before he just left the ring.
Jesus Christ.
Another note, just one more tidbit from that night. I didn't think going into that wrestling match, like going to that thing, that at any point in the night I would see a full-grown man toss a woman, and right before he tossed her, would exclaim, "How about this for women's rights?" And then tossed her. It was an intergender match between like the heel of that league and
Oh
some
my
girl.
God.
Hey Pete, I think we should have trigger warning that.
Oh God, dude.
Trigger.
Jesus Christ. Like, dude, I mean, and he's doing that shit to get heat, but I mean, I'm sure.
Does he need it?
No, obviously he doesn't. That's fucking hilarious,
Oh my
dude.
God.
Though.
It was thoroughly entertaining, and there's another one December 18th at Our Lady of Mount
Yeah,
Carmel.
dude, Scott Hall's gonna be there.
Dude, I went to that school when I was growing up.
Damn.
And like what pisses me off is they haven't always done AIW shows there. So it would have been so great if I was like in grade school, every Friday night they had a new fucking wrestling show. I would have totally gone to that shit. I'd been like,
dude.
"Mom, you could pick me up at like 10."
Dude, that's
But yeah, it was super tight, and I thought I would share. Also, kind of plug the show a little bit. So yeah,
No,
it was
absolutely.
a good night
I
all
mean-
around, and I have a new perspective on wrestling outside of this bullshit that I do for you guys.
no, it's actually very nice to have you have gone to that and be able to tell us what